we all have a certain understanding that as life goes on, there's different seasons, and you can phrase it however you want. Whether it's seasons just like with age, whether it's seasons with just like being in school at this stage, and then at this stage in school, and then your career. Like you can phrase it however you want, but there is this sense of like, now I'm in this season, and then now I'm in a transition, and all those different things. And we, in our experience, in our short little lives, and just by listening to other people who have lived longer, there's a few things I feel like that we've been able to identify that do help you navigate those different seasons, without necessarily getting stuck in one of them, or without one specific season just like holding you back, or like completely just like knocking your socks off, because some seasons are a lot harder than others, but there are a few things that I feel like help you just like navigate through each of them moving forward. So we're gonna talk about a few of those. Hopefully they help you as much as they've helped us, and that's which is always the goal here. And so so let's dive into it. So what would you say is, we're gonna just go back and forth. So let's just go with your. Do you want to go with my first?
No, you asked me.
Oh, you want to rock paper scissors? But no, just kidding. All right. So one of the things that has helped me in every single season, I feel like that I've been in, and I mean, I'm talking all the way from the good ones to the amazing ones, and to the ones that were super, super rough, has been gratitude. And gosh, I mean, you name it, because I have been, in my short little life, I feel like through some season that really had the potential to hold me back forever. And that is meaning like stopping me from moving forward, from even keeping hope in like a good possible future outcome and all of that. But I really believe that in all those different moments, and again, like even the good seasons too, I feel like being grateful and having gratitude has helped me kind of like maintain that center, that helped me not just being blown away by the circumstances, but helped me keep moving forward. And not just gratitude in terms of the things that I had in the moment, like being grateful for them, but even gratitude in terms of looking back and seeing what I had already been through, and being grateful for like the journey that had even led me from that, because that I feel like a lot of time we get trapped, because when we look back, we have this victim mentality a lot of times when we look back, and feel like all these things have happened to us that were so unfortunate, and all these things. And because of that, it almost gives us this like, so I deserve to just give up, because I was dealt such a terrible hand, you know what I mean?
Justifies why you're doing what you're doing.
Exactly. Like you get this sense that, no, you justify why I could just quit right now and just like throw a towel. But if you just flip that switch and focus on the fact that you didn't die, on the fact that somehow, despite all those different things, you're still here, and you still have a chance to make something different, you still have a chance to change everything moving forward, then you realize that all along there were opportunities being created that led you to this point. And then that shit, and again, it's not like, I'm not saying it's easy, but I'm saying that if you try to get there and actually find the strength and the courage, because I do believe it takes strength and courage to be grateful for things that may appear to be hard or difficult and things like that. But I 100% guarantee that if you can find that courage and that strength to be grateful for all the things that led you here, and be thankful for where you are, and realizing the potential of everything that's still ahead of you, man, like there's no season that can hold you back, and I'm a living testimony of that. There's just no season that can hold you back, because gratitude, I feel like it frees you from the weight. I feel like that circumstances, things that happen to you, always try to get on you to kind of like keep you trapped. I feel like gratitude is just like this weight off your shoulders, I feel like, and it just makes you lighter and helps you keep moving, So I'll say that's right there on top of my list as far as like things that have helped me through like different seasons that I've been in. Nice. What's your first one?
Oh man, well, it's I like what you said about the gratitude. I would say it's more for me. I think about no realization that everything ends, and in a way that we have. I think Steve Harvey said it. You've survived 100% of everything that you've dealt with in life because you're still here, right?
Yeah.
And whether you succeeded or failed at certain things you did, you've survived up until this point. Now, how is it working out for you? What are you going through? What's your situation? That all depends on circumstances, right?
Yeah.
But everything that has happened in my life has started, come, and gone. And some things are still ongoing.
Wow.
Other things may have yet to come to pass. But for the most part, it's like anything. It's like I went through school. It's like I, like a death in the family. Like it happens and then it ends. Buying this house, it happened. Okay, well now I'm a homeowner. It's like the apartment living was a thing and then it ended. Relationships that start and end. Jobs where you work a different job, it starts and it ends. And I think sometimes we get stuck too much in a present mentality because it's important to be present, right? But I think sometimes you're stuck so much in the moment that you then perpetuate it ongoing, and then you trap yourself beyond something that I don't think is actually valid or practical. Because you're thinking, well, I can never get out of this situation, or I can never leave this job, or I can never leave, or I can never stop, or I can never change, or I can't. It's like all the negatives, right? But then having a reality, well, if you don't like something, change it. We tend to often be very complacent unless things bother us or irritate us. I want to say it's Miles Monroe talks about people won't change unless they hate something.
Yeah.
People, they'll tolerate what they don't hate. So sometimes you have to, hate the way that you're living your life or hate the decisions that you're making, but know that whatever circumstances you maybe found yourself in, it can be temporary, and it could be as temporary as you want it to be. We talk about seasons in the same way. We got our winter, spring, summer, fall. You have seasons of life. I mean, even like growing up and becoming an adult, now you're in a new season, and it's like, what are you going to do with that? So for me, it's knowing that like that awareness of everything's finite. So what are you trying to get out of it? And then also knowing like, what are you working towards? Because you can perpetuate it. You can make certain seasons of your life a lot longer than they need to be.
Let's go.
But if you realize they don't have to be, and that you really are in control, and sometimes you have to see, like, okay, what do I need to do to change my outcome, my job, my circumstances? Then you got to actually figure that out. And you have to be willing to accept that things may take longer for you than maybe someone else, or maybe harder for you because of where you currently are.
Wow. That's good. Let's go. Whew, that was fire, man. Oh, my God.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
What would be... Oh, speaking of, what is your favorite actual season, weather-wise? Just out of curiosity.
Well, in Fresno, I would say... Is it fall that comes? What season comes directly after winter?
We have about a week of spring. We have 2 weeks of fall. No, I'm just kidding. But like,
okay.
like our spring and fall in Fresno are not very long.
Okay.
But spring, summer, fall, winter.
Then it's probably spring and fall.
Okay.
Because I know the season that I really like come and go
quickly,
very quick.
Yes.
So it's probably this too. Because I grew up with like only like one season basically.
Yeah.
So I'm still like kind of like adjusting to so. But yeah, I'll say those two. Because the summer is way too hot. And the winter is still too cold for me, so it's rough out here.
It can be a challenge. Yeah, I would agree with you. I like fall. I like it a lot. I like the leaves changing colors. I like the cyclic aspect of it. I like the holiday season that comes with it, which sometimes holidays can be stressful. But I do like the family. I have a lot of fond memories of as the the days grow shorter and the nights grow longer. The cooler weather.
Yep.
I've lived in Fresno for 30 years. Well, I mean, I've lived in Clovis for a year now, basically. Yeah. But I still, it's neighboring city, and every year I think, I've got it. I'll be used to it. Nope.
Break a new heat record.
Yeah, and a new heat record, like, okay, all right, that's a thing. Yeah. Well, that's cool. I appreciate that answer.
Yeah, of course.
So, what is something that so we're talking about seasons, right? So there are things like people and circumstances that'll be with you for your life, and then there'll also be things that are only with you for a season. So can you give an example of something that you thought was going to be around a lot longer, which was really just an actual season?
Oh, absolutely. And the best, there's a few different things, but I'll say two things. Apologize. I can't pick one. So the first thing is...
I'll just edit out the second.
Right, nice.
No, I'm just kidding. Go for it.
Wait for the two, guys.
Yeah.
So the first one is people, and the second one is mindset. And
That's a
so
good one.
people in terms of their friends that I had when I was younger, and I really did believe that they were going to be there forever, like they were going to be my friends for forever, because like I don't know, I guess when you're younger you don't really think about oh, I'm going to change friends or like eventually, but it's crazy because a lot of people, and it's not like you become mad at them or anything, like life just has a way of doing that where like some friends just stay. There's some friends that have been my friends for forever, and then some just move away, and then some new ones come in.
Growing apart.
Yeah, you growing apart, and I think a lot of people get in trouble when they don't understand that that's a part of those seasons changing, and they try either to hold on to people whose time has been fulfilled already in their lives, or they do a terrible job at maintaining the relationship that they still need to nurture in their lives. So one of the two ways, and so in my life, that's one of the things that I really thought there were some friends I was like, I'm gonna probably be with you around until the end. Nope, they're not there anymore. And then there's some friends that life randomly threw at me, and like till today, they're like my best friends, some of my best friends, And so people for sure. And the other thing is beliefs or like mindsets. Oh my goodness! I mean, there was ways like my entire worldview has probably been completely flipped, like since I was born until now. Several times. I feel like. Because your world expands the more you know, the more you discover, the more you experiment or experience, and then eventually you kind of like start aligning with a certain set of beliefs that become your core belief, and based around that you kind of build like that worldview that kind of stays with you for a little while. And so for me personally, I feel like I was very blessed to be malleable at the time where I needed to be, because I feel like a lot of people, the dangerous part of this is holding on to mindsets that are bad for you, but being so familiar with them that you're not willing to bend and learn anything new that's actually better for you. And I was very fortunate to have a lot of sets of beliefs and mindset that were awful and terrible for me, and to be very malleable and open, so that when the new wave of like right beliefs and right mindset came and washed over me, I was willing to learn them, to let go of what was familiar that I had been doing my entire life, and actually like learn basically a new way of living, of treating people, of understanding the world, and all those different things. So I would say those are two things that I think for a very good amount of time that they were just, that's it, But eventually I was very fortunate to grow in a certain level of understanding and awareness. I feel like I was able to allow myself to grow and realize that those two components or areas are two areas in which change, like those areas mirrors the season that you're in when you are malleable enough. I feel like to grow with them. Because I mean, even when you think of a tree, like if a tree is stiff and doesn't want to like bend with the branches coming out, it's never gonna grow, because the tree doesn't just, unless it's like a pine tree or something like that. But you have to be malleable to be able to grow, adapt, and continue to grow basically, because otherwise you're just stuck, and then that's it, and then you just never move. So I'll say those two areas for me, in which it's a good question. I get a lot. Yeah. So what I have a question for you too, kind of like on that subject. What would you say is one thing that in your experience can hinder you from actually moving from seasons to seasons? You know what I mean? Like, what is one thing? Because I feel like I kind of mentioned earlier when I was talking about what is one thing that doesn't help you like go through the seasons, but like either gets you stuck or just like gets you to not be able to handle like the new seasons that come in your life.
So it's interesting, and I think for me, it's when you don't, when you're afraid to move on. I think fear. Fear is a huge deterrent in people's abilities to really, from the way you want to live your life to how you want to be treated, to what you want to become, do, say the things that you want to say to people. I think a lot of people, myself included at times, are afraid of the change. They're afraid of what will happen if like you stood up for yourself, or you quit your job, or you ended a relationship, or you just wanted to focus on taking care of you and putting yourself as your number one priority, right? Because we have these physical seasons, we have seasons of friendships, of stages of life and relationships, but you are year round, 24/7, 365 with yourself, day in, day out. Every season you experience, you're right along there with yourself. And I know that there are times when we are trying to change or we're afraid to change because we may not know what it could be like. It's kind of, if you will, sometimes I don't think people realize how good their lives could be when they're trying to justify how bad it currently is and just accept it.
Wow. That's so good.
Because we're really good at knowing what we can lose because we're aware of what, we usually are aware of what we have, what situation we're in. Like if you're, and, relationships, jobs, and then I guess just relationship, job, kind of like the two main categories. That's why I'll keep talking about them a lot. If you're in a relationship with somebody, you've been with them however long, what kind of quality is that giving you? But you have someone, right? And I think a lot of people stay in relationships because they're afraid of being alone. It's Tyler Perry, one of my favorite motivational speakers. If you can categorize him as that, which he is, his Medea character talks about it'll be a lot easier to be by yourself when you learn how to love yourself. And it's like the whole leaves and roots and tree thing. Basically, how he explains to I think it was. He was the grandmother, or was it the aunt, or cause Medea was talking to a nephew or a grandchild.
Probably
probably a nephew. I don't think Medea had kids. I'm not sure.
I don't know actually.
So, but talking to a family member, right, as is Medea, so he's sitting on stage dressed as an old lady. But it's talking about you have people in your life that are like leaves on the tree, and they just kind of blow around, and they're not really going to be there for long. You have the branches, which are people that you think you can depend on. Then all of a sudden that you can't, and they just break, they snap like a branch. And then you have the roots, which are the people you need to develop in your life. And we get in trouble when we mistake those seasonal leaf people with actual long-term roots. And that's so good. I think fear plays a big part in that, because you put someone in a position that, first of all, if you look at it in perspective, it's really not fair to them. It's not fair to you, but it's also not fair to them. Especially when you're in a relationship or within a job. If you really don't like it or you're really unhappy, you owe it to yourself, and you also owe it to them, right? Yeah. Especially if you truly care about somebody and you're not happy with them, shouldn't you tell them? Shouldn't you let them go be happy somewhere else, right? It's like every relationship that ends, it's like, okay, they may be bad, right? But that's okay. They were meant to end. And it's a good thing that they end, because then it allows you to learn from it, grow from it, and experience something else. But when we're afraid to let go, we're afraid to change, we're afraid to try, that keeps us stuck in seasons a lot longer than I think we need to be.
Wow. Oh my God. And that was it. I just kidding. That was so good. My goodness. So many good nuggets in there. Wow. I think as we wrap up, there's something. I've probably said it in the past episode before, but this is one of my favorite scripture ever. It's in Proverbs, and it talks about how everything is beautiful in its season, in its time, in its season. And then it goes on saying there's a time to pray, there's a time to fast, a time to cry, to laugh, and all these different things. But the core idea is that when something is in its season, it's beautiful. And that's something that and I think I love that passage so much, because it's something that I've struggled with so many times. Because there's so many things that happen in seasons that don't feel beautiful, that don't feel right at all. And so I've always struggled with that idea of how could this possibly be beautiful? And then a few years pass, and then you think back at it, and you're like, oh, you know what? I learned something pretty cool from that. Yeah. And so it's so much easier to look back and to realize that season was meaningful, that season was necessary for me to get to where I am, versus when you're in the season. But I really believe that there is a way in which we could develop the ability to see that while we're in the season. And the main reason why is because I feel like it's going to help us not have this mentality, I'm just trying to get away from this season to the next one, because it never stops. Right. Like it's a muscle that you train. If you're never happy in this season, and all you want is to get out of this season to be in the next one, you will never get to a season where you will be satisfied. True. You will always want to get to the next season. But I feel like if we can develop the ability to find the beauty in each season, no matter how hard, how difficult it is to observe the beauty and appreciate it, every season that comes, we will be happy. Every season that comes will be fulfilled. Every season that comes will be at peace. And I feel like that's how life is meant to be. Not constantly wishing, I wish I was over there. I wish I was over there. But being able to find the ecstasy in this season and then live your life like that. Because if life is made up of season and there's all these seasons that in your mind are just, this is a scratch, I need to get to the other one, and then once you get to that one, this is a scratch, I need to get to, eventually you will get to the end of your life and realize that you never appreciated anything, you never significantly grounded yourself in anything, you were never happy because you kept waiting for this next season and whatnot. While again, like I was saying, I've looked back so many times and I've found so many times beauty in seasons that I thought were the worst while I was in there. So this is really a wish I feel like that I'm expressing and that I hope that you guys pursue with me. I just really want to train myself to find the beauty in the season while I'm in them, because I just feel like it will make everything so much easier. And think about it, like if you're in a season that you love so much and you're going to another season and you learn to love that one so much, like life becomes effortless because you're not trying so hard anymore to run away from whatever this is, but you're learning from it, you're growing through it, you happy in it, and like that feels more like a good and meaningful life to me than anything else. So I think it's worth pursuing. But yep, that's one of my last words. So,
Love it.
unless you have anything else,
as we fall into this new season,
hey, nice.
we appreciate you. We hope that you're doing well, and just take the time to identify some of the current seasons in your life. And if you do find that you're wanting to transition, if there's fear that's stopping you, don't be afraid. Give it a go, because otherwise, if you want to change, you got to make an effort. Otherwise, you'll be the same.
Yeah.
And for those that are going well, the season of your life that you do, actually life is pretty good, have the gratitude and appreciate it, because seasons, they do change, circumstances change, but we want to appreciate the things we have while we have them.
Yeah, absolutely.
And until then, we'll see you next time. Stay joyfully golden.